forget. There's always a little delay. I'm amazed when I start this thing and the replay. I'm like, it starts mid-sentence, but so I think we're recording now. So yay, welcome to week 8 of Online Marketing 101. This is the last week. So last week of live training, but you know, TJ was emailing me wanting to get all our welcome things in and everything, and she's like, "Oh, I got to get it in before Wednesday," and I'm like, "Yeah, don't worry. That if, you know, you guys got questions, you need help and stuff like that, I'm always here. So it's not like I'm vanishing and you'll never hear from me again." And so, you know,
I hope not. We need you, John.
Yeah, that's reassuring because I'm sure I'm going to have numerous questions until I've done some of it over and over and over again, and it sinks in.
Yep. But the first thing, well, what do you want to do? You want to get the backup and sync, the technical thing out of the way, and we'll get that in the books, and then we'll just talk about the you know, the messaging part of it, the conversation.
Yeah, I would vote for let's do the hard stuff first.
Yeah.
So you guys think that is the hard stuff, the technical part?
Yes.
Oh, for me.
Yeah. And, you know, one of the things that I'm thinking of for the next class, and I'm always trying to, you know, think of ways to improve it and everything, and is to separate the two components, the two modules. And in the portal, because right off the bat, we got some people, you know, when we did install your Google Drive, and then we had all the different videos on how to export your contacts from LinkedIn and Google and Outlook and all that. There were so many videos. So everyone said, you know, oh gosh, I got to scroll all the way down there. It looks like, you know, people weren't getting down past those. So I started another module, you know, the list builder module, the Gmail module. And so I had the CRM module, the list builder module, and the Gmail module.
God bless you.
Oh, thank you. But some of the things kind of overlap, you know, and it became, for me, it became confusing. So I know it's got to be confusing for you. And I have people like, hey, where's the Zap video? Well, it's over in the list builder side, you know. So, so what I'm going to do is I'm really going to reorganize it, and I'm just going to have 2 sections. I'm going to have the technical side, which I'm going to call Gmail marketing. And then the messaging side, which right now is called client conversations. But I'm thinking of changing that name to connecting with your tribe. And I want to play a video for you guys that this guy named Seth Godin did as a TED Talk about finding your tribe and leading your tribe. And just see if it resonates with you as much as it did with me, and see if that's a message that, so that's really the whole second half conversation that I want to have with you, is really, where do we go from here? Assuming you've gotten your welcome series done, and all that you're caught up on the exercises, which you may not be, and that's okay. Because it really is supposed to be moving at your own pace. But so where do you go once you get that done, and how do you keep the conversation going with the people on your list? And for me, listening to this video was a real aha moment. And so I want to play that to you for you guys, and see if that was good for you too. But let's get the technical part out of the way. So I'm kind of previewing my new branding of the technical part of it, called Gmail marketing, and it's got new branding. And let me know if you like it. You know, thumbs up, thumbs down. You can be honest, because I've just got 1 video done, but I tend to really have 2 completely separate modules, And then the Gmail part of it, I just found it's better. There's actually 12 steps, and there's some that have a couple of parts in there, but there's 12 steps. So it really, if you go just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, if you get caught in the middle somewhere, then you know at least where you've come back to, where you can start off at. And if you want to go back and review, then you know exactly where that is. I think that will be a better way to organize it. And let me know what you guys think about that.
I think that, John, sounds a lot clearer and it sounds less confusing for me. That's just my opinion. Sherry had sent me a text asking something about that, but I wasn't really clear on the text if she was talking about this class that we just finished or an upcoming class, or, so I tried to ask her, but you know how text messages are sometimes you're on 2 different planets.
Yeah.
But yeah, so if that's the question she was asking me in a text message, I think it sounds, for me, like if I can compartmentalize things and I can open this up and I can look at this limited amount of information, that's good for me. And I can open up this envelope and I can look at this. But when I get like too much all cluttered together, I just kind of go into panic mode. It just looks overwhelming to me. So for myself and my learning style, I like what you're thinking.
Yeah, and the other thing that we're thinking of, and the reason why we went to making up into modules was kind of to prevent that, like, oh my God, I've got 12 videos to watch. It's like kind of you do this section and then you do this section and then you do this section. But the execution of that, really, there are some things that overlap.
Right.
And some things people got like 2/3 of the way down this one, and then they started on the other one, and they were like, they've started doing them in pieces, as opposed to like, oh, you really need to do it like do this one, then this one, then this one. So I think it so what sometimes sounds good in concept doesn't always work good in execution.
Yeah.
But the other thing that we're going to do that we are really that we're sort of playing with, that we're seriously thinking about, that we want to get your feedback on, is renaming the Drugless Practitioner Academy to the Wellness Practitioner Academy. Because like Sherry and Sam both felt pretty strongly that drugless is kind of a negative, approach to the whole thing. And we were really trying to ride on the coattails of the Drugless Practitioner Association, which turned out to be, fine. And that's where we got our accreditation and everything. And we would still have our accreditation and everything, and everybody would still get the same certificates and everything. And so everything stays the same. We just feel like our target market really are wellness practitioners. And people use wellness practitioners and wellness centers way more than they use drugless. And while I really like the idea of promoting the drugless movement, I think it doesn't really mean that much to most people.
I think it's a great name myself, because you're talking about the whole situation, not using drugs and trying to heal yourself naturally.
And I kind of agree, because I think drugless I think it's just blossoming. I think people are just now starting to go, well, what do you mean? Oh, you mean you can do something without taking a prescription? What do it's like a foreign concept to people that have been on 30 medications for the last 5 years.
Yeah.
So I think that is really evolving right now. And I think you're going to start hearing a lot more about like whole body wellness, or physical medicine, things like that. To me, drugless practitioners, I think it's more specific than wellness. I love wellness, and I use wellness in my own business all the time. I love that word, but I don't know. I kind of like I like it the way it is. I mean, I think either one works.
So both of you guys are kind of would prefer it to stay what it is.
Yeah, I like the drugless practitioners because that's relating to health and you know, that you're not having to take drugs to heal yourself.
Yeah, to mask the other crap.
Yeah.
That's the way I've always looked at it.
Me too. I mean, I think I like drugless practitioners.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, that's good. That's good. It's good feedback. All right. So let's look at this is the video, the how-to video, how to download and install the backup and sync application. So here we go. Hello and welcome to the Gmail Marketing Guru. Google Marketing Video Series. I'm John Golitz. In this video, we're going to walk you through downloading the Google app Backup and Sync. It's an app you need to download at this URL, and there's also a link for you can access in the portal below this video. So once you click on the link, you're going to be taken to a page that looks like this. Start by clicking the download button for the personal version. Then agree to the terms of the service. You're going to see an install box pop up and then click the save file. Then go to the downloaded file box and open the file or click on the download button. If you have Firefox, it's going to look something like this, but click yes and it will start the download process. On mine, it took a while. Once the installation is complete, you can close out of there and you're going to see this welcome page. If you don't see the welcome page, then go to your desktop and look for this little icon. It looks like this. Just click on this little icon and then the welcome page will come back. So when on the welcome page, click on the Get Started button and then enter your email address here. And then click the Next button and then enter your password and sign in. After you do this, the first step is to choose the folders from your computer to back up. Just click on this Got It button and here's where you're going to choose the specific folders. I recommend you choose everything, as it just makes it easier in the long run, and the storage is free. Now you can click on this Choose Folders link and choose the specific folders if you don't want to choose everything. In this section below, you can choose the quality of the picture. The high quality selection works well for me. I can't see the difference, to be honest with you. Unless you really need high quality images, I go with the high quality, free, unlimited storage. So in this section, you can upload your photos and your videos. I also recommend getting Google Photos on your phone and doing the same for your phone. Then you're going to have all your data, photos, and videos available to you from any device, no matter where you are. So once you've done that, just click Next. And now in this step, you're going to choose which files you sync from the drive to your computer. I like to have full copies on each device and install them the same on my laptop. If you want to change the folder location, just click on this link here. And in this section, you choose if you want to choose everything to back up or a smaller amount. I choose everything. And then click Start. So keep in mind, if you have a lot of data, pictures, and videos, this may take a while, so be patient and make sure your internet's not getting used up and clogged up by other uses that's going to interrupt it. So here you can click on the Google Drive button and access the Google Drive online. So here's what mine looks like on my file directory in my File Explorer. So you can see on my main file directory, the Google Drive is there, and it's under the same file directory that is on my Google Drive. So if I want to save something from my desktop into my Google Drive, I can just bring it right over here and save it in here. Or if I want to get something out of my Google Drive, I just go right over here and take it right out of there, just like if I were going to use my documents. So you can see how my document structure is here. And here I am in my Google Drive. So you can see it's the same file structure. So if you go over to your Google Drive and you go to the computers that are connected to it, I have my laptop and my computers and then all my documents. Everything is under the exact same file structure that it is in my Google Drive. So you can see the exact same file structure. So no matter where I am, no matter which computer I have, or if I have somebody else's, as long as I can access my internet, I have all the same information. I have the same information on my, see, here it is on my, this is all the documents on my laptop and all the documents on my computer, all accessible by my Google Drive. So I hope that helps you install this great app from Google, the Google Backup and Sync. Thanks a lot. Let's go. How's that? So I know that's, that's a technical thing. You got to take it step by step. And, oh, I'll move my microphone there. Is that better?
Yes.
Okay, good. Yeah, I know that's a technical thing. You got to take it step by step, but, once you do it, it really makes a huge difference. So I highly encourage you to do that and to do it on your laptop and, any of your devices, so Veronica, like you could have it, if Mark has a different computer, you could basically put them all onto the Google Drive and then you have access to all the files, so, or you can have them in separate Google Drives, but it's a real good thing. So,
John, I just to not to change the subject, I know you're on something. Mark came up with a name. He said drugless health and performance practitioners.
Drugless what?
Drugless health and performance practitioners.
Health and performance.
Performance practitioners. He said maybe that might be another avenue too. Yeah,
that's an interesting one.
I like it, but but you guys probably, to me, performance, like I can see like that resonates with me, but I'm sure you work with, so many people with so many different modalities. I don't know if performance fits in all of those.
Well, health-wise, it would for horses or animals, because they're performing and getting your body back to perform to its natural.
Right, but I'm saying, like, not everybody that John is helping are PEMF people. They can be people from different walks of life, massage therapists, or I don't know whatever. All he has people that are available, but I'm thinking, would they all fall under performance?
Yeah, and that's why wellness really is it's a very broad category, yet it's still specific to practitioners that are in the you know,
Wellness business.
in the wellness business. Yeah.
Business.
And
Yeah.
really what this does is, I'm sort of surprised TJ's not here. I thought she was going to make it. But what I really came across and the shift that really happened is, and this kind of sets up the TED Talk, is that it really results in the experience that we've had with Sherry's mom, who we've just recently found out has like stage 4 cancer, and a number of other things that really should have been found out a lot sooner, long time ago, and should have been way better managed by the healthcare system. And what we've really found out is that just not any new news, and I'm not trying to bash the healthcare system, but it's clearly broken. And you know, everybody in the system, the doctors, the patients, the you know, the insurance companies, the politicians, everybody really, except for the drug companies, you know, think that it is broken, and it's for the benefit of the drug companies. They're the ones that created it, and it really falls in line with what happened with the hey, and there's Sherry on her phone.
Hi, Sherry.
Hi, Sherry.
Hi, Sherry. And it really falls in line. I'm just kind of setting up the TED Talk. It really falls in line with what happened, and I'll let Seth talk about it because he does a lot better job of it. But what we really started seeing was that the trying to make a difference and trying to make a change in the healthcare system just isn't going to happen. But what we can do is we can try to create an alternative system, and the alternative system really are the wellness practitioners that are out there providing an alternative to people that are in pain and sick and want to stay well. And you know, so really in trying to do what is the conversation that we want to have with our clients and prospects is, I think, a more positive conversation about wellness rather than treating specific symptoms with, hey, and there's Sam. Yay.
Hi, Sam.
So anyway, I'm gonna play the TED Talk, and we'll and then we can talk about this in more detail afterwards. Since Sherry's already seen it, so she's trying to scamper back here to get back.
So sometimes I get invited to give weird talks. I got invited to speak to the people who dress up in big stuffed animal costumes to perform at sporting events. Unfortunately, I couldn't go, but it got me thinking about the fact that these guys, at least most of them, know what it is that they do for a living. What they do is they dress up as stuffed animals and entertain people at sporting events. Shortly after that, I got invited to speak at the convention of the people who make balloon animals. And again, I couldn't go, but it's a fascinating group. They make balloon animals. There's a big schism between the ones who make gospel animals and porn animals. But they do a lot of really cool stuff with balloons. Sometimes they get in trouble, but not often. And the other thing about these guys is they also know what they do for a living. They make balloon animals. But what do we do for a living? What exactly do the people watching this do every day? And I want to argue that what we do is we try to change everything. That we try to find a piece of the status quo, something that bothers us, something that needs to be improved, something that's itching to be changed, and we change it. And we try to make big, permanent, important change. But we don't think about it that way, and we haven't spent a lot of time talking about what that process is like. And I've been studying it for a couple of years, and I want to share a couple stories with you today. First, about a guy named Nathan Winograd. Nathan was the #2 person at the San Francisco SPCA. And what you may not know about the history of the SPCA is it was founded to kill dogs and cats. Cities gave them a charter to get rid of the stray animals on the street and destroy them. And in a typical year, 4 million dogs and cats were killed, most of them within 24 hours of being scooped off the street. Nathan and his boss saw this, and they could not tolerate it. So they set out to make San Francisco a no-kill city. Create an entire city where every dog and cat, unless it was ill or dangerous, would be adopted, not killed. And everyone said it was impossible. Nathan and his boss went to the city council to get a change in the ordinance, and people from SPCAs and humane shelters from around the country flew to San Francisco to testify against them, to say it would hurt the movement and it was inhumane. They persisted, and Nathan went directly to the community. He connected with people who cared about this, non-professionals, people with passion. And within just a couple years, San Francisco became the first no-kill city, running no deficit, completely supported by the community. Nathan left and went to Tompkins County, New York, a place as different from San Francisco as you can be and still be in the United States. And he did it again. He went from being a glorified dog catcher to completely transforming the community. And then he went to North Carolina and did it again. And he went to Reno and he did it again. And when I think about what Nathan did, and when I think about people here do, I think about ideas. And I think about the idea that creating an idea, spreading an idea, has a lot behind it. And I don't know if you've ever been to a Jewish wedding, but what they do is they take a light bulb and they smash it. Now, there's a bunch of reasons for that and stories about it, but one reason is because it indicates a change from before to after. It's a moment in time. And I want to argue that we are living through and are right at the key moment of a change in the way ideas are created and spread and implemented. We started with the factory idea, that you could change the whole world if you had an efficient factory that could churn out change. We then went to the TV idea that said if you had a big enough mouthpiece, if you could get on TV enough times, if you could buy enough ads, you could win. And now we're in this new model of leadership, where the way we make change is not by using money or power to lever a system, but by leading. So let me talk about the 3 cycles. The first one is the factory cycle. Henry Ford comes up with a really cool idea. It enables him to hire men who used to get paid 50 cents a day and pay him $5 a day because he's got an efficient enough factory. Well, with that sort of advantage, you can churn out a lot of cars. You can make a lot of change. You can get roads built. You can change the fabric of an entire country. That the essence of what you're doing is you need ever cheaper labor and ever faster machines. And the problem we've run into is we're running out of both, ever cheaper labor and ever faster machines. So we shift gears for a minute and say, I know, television, advertising, push, take a good idea and push it on the world. I have a better mousetrap, and if I can just get enough money to tell enough people, I'll sell enough. And you can build an entire industry on that. If necessary, you can put babies in your ads. If necessary, you can use babies to sell other stuff. And if babies don't work, you can use doctors. But be careful, because you don't want to get an unfortunate juxtaposition when you're talking about one thing instead of the other. This model requires you to act like the king, like the person in the front of the room throwing things to the peons in the back. That you are in charge and you're going to tell people what to do next. That, you know, the quick little diagram of it is you're up here and you are pushing it out to the world. This method, mass marketing, requires average ideas, because you're going to the masses, and plenty of ads. What we've done as spammers is tried to hypnotize everyone into buying our idea, hypnotize everyone into donating to our cause, hypnotize everyone into voting for our candidate. And unfortunately, it doesn't work so well anymore either. But there's good news around the corner, really good news. I call it the idea of tribes. What tribes are is a very simple concept that goes back 50,000 years. It's about leading and connecting people and ideas. And it's something that people have wanted forever. Lots of people are used to having a spiritual tribe or a church tribe, having a work tribe, having a community tribe. But now, thanks to the internet, thanks to the explosion of mass media, thanks to a lot of other things that are bubbling through our society around the world, tribes are everywhere. The internet was supposed to homogenize everyone by connecting us all. Instead, what it's allowed is silos of interest. So you got the red hat ladies over here, you got the red hat triathletes over there. You got the organized armies over here, you got the disorganized rebels over here. You got people in white hats making food and people in white hats sailing boats. The point is that you can find Ukrainian folk dancers and connect with them because you want to be connected. That people on the fringes can find each other, connect, and go somewhere. Every town that has a volunteer fire department understands this way of thinking. Now, it turns out this is a legitimate non-photoshopped photo. People I know who are firemen told me that this is not uncommon, and that what firemen do to train sometimes is they take a house that's going to be torn down and they burn it down instead in practice, putting it out, but they always stop and take a picture. So, you know, the pirate tribe is a fascinating one. They got their own flag, they got the eye patches. You can tell when you're running into someone in a tribe. And it turns out that it's tribes, not money, not factories, that can change our world, that can change politics, that can align large numbers of people. Not because you force them to do something against their will, but because they wanted to connect. That what we do for a living now, all of us, I think, is find something worth changing and then assemble tribes that spread the idea and spread the idea, and it becomes something far bigger than ourselves. It becomes a movement. So, when Al Gore set out to change the world again, he didn't do it by himself, and he didn't do it by buying a lot of ads. He did it by creating a movement. Thousands of people around the country who could give his presentation for him, because he can't be in 100 or 200 or 500 cities in each night. You don't need everyone. What Kevin Kelly has taught us is you just need, 1,000 true fans. 1,000 people who care enough that they will get you the next round and the next round and the next round. That means that the idea you create, the product you create, the movement you create isn't for everyone. It's not a mass thing. That's not what this is about. What it's about instead is finding the true believers. It's easy to look at what I've said so far and say, wait a minute, I don't have what it takes to be that kind of leader. So here are two leaders. They don't have a lot in common. They're about the same age, but that's about it. What they did, though, is each in their own way created a different way of navigating your way through technology. So some people would go out and get people to be on one team, and some people would get people to be on the other team. It also informs the decisions you make when you make products or services. You know, this is one of my favorite devices. But what a shame that it's not organized to help authors create movements. What would happen if when you're using your Kindle, you could see the comments and quotes and notes from all the other people reading the same book as you in that moment, or from your book group, or from your friends, or from the circle you want? What would happen if authors or people with ideas could use version 2, which comes out on Monday, and use it to organize people who want to talk about something? Now, there's a million things I could share with you about the mechanics here, but let me just try a couple. The Beatles did not invent teenagers. They merely decided to lead them. That most movements, most leadership that we're doing is about finding a group that's disconnected but already has a yearning, not persuading people to want something they don't have yet. When Diane Hatz worked on the Matrix, her video that spread all across the internet about the way farm animals are treated, she didn't invent the idea of being a vegan. She didn't invent the idea of caring about this issue, but she helped organize people and helped turn it into a movement. Hugo Chavez did not invent the disaffected middle and lower class of Venezuela. He merely led them. Bob Marley did not invent Rastafarians. He just stepped up and said, "Follow me." Derek Sivers invented CD Baby, which allowed independent musicians to have a place to sell their music without selling out to the man, to have a place to take the mission they already wanted to go to and connect with each other. What all these people have in common is that they are heretics. That heretics look at the status quo and say, this will not stand. I can't abide this status quo. I am willing to stand up and be counted and move things forward. I see what the status quo is. I don't like it. That instead of looking at all the little rules and following each one of them, that instead of being what I call a sheep walker, somebody who's half asleep, following instructions, keeping their head down, fitting in, every once in a while, someone stands up and says, not me. Someone stands up and says, this one's important. We need to organize around it. And not everyone will. But you don't need everyone. You just need a few people who will look at the rules, realize they make no sense, and realize how much they want to be connected. So Tony Hsieh does not run a shoe store. Zappos isn't a shoe store. Zappos is the one, the only, the best there ever was place for people who are into shoes to find each other, to talk about their passion, to connect with people who care more about customer service than making a nickel tomorrow. It can be something as prosaic as shoes and something as complicated as overthrowing a government. It's exactly the same behavior, though. What it requires, as Geraldine Carter has discovered, is to be able to say, I can't do this by myself, but if I can get other people to join my climate ride, then together we can get something that we all want. We're just waiting for someone to lead us. Michelle Kaufman has pioneered new ways of thinking about environmental architecture. She doesn't do it by quietly building one house at a time. She does it by telling a story to people who want to hear it, by connecting a tribe of people who are desperate to be connected to each other, by leading a movement and making change. And around and around and around it goes. So 3 questions I'd offer you. The first one is, who exactly are you upsetting? Because if you're not upsetting anyone, you're not changing the status quo. The second question is, who are you connecting? Because for a lot of people, that's what they're in it for. The connections that are being made one to the other. And the third one is, who are you leading? Because focusing on that part of it, not the mechanics of what you're building, but the who and the leading part is where change comes. So, Blake at Tom's Shoes had a very simple idea. What would happen if every time someone bought a pair of these shoes, I gave exactly the same pair to someone who doesn't even own a pair of shoes? This is not the story of how you get shelf space at Neiman Marcus. It's a story of a product that tells a story. And as you walk around with this remarkable pair of shoes and someone says, what are those? You get to tell the story on Blake's behalf, on behalf of the people who got the shoes. And suddenly it's not 1 pair of shoes or 100 pairs of shoes, it's tens of thousands of pairs of shoes. My friend Red Maxwell has spent the last 10 years fighting against juvenile diabetes. Not fighting the organization that's fighting it, fighting with them, leading them, connecting them, challenging the status quo because it's important to him. And the people he surrounds himself with need the connection. They need the leadership. It makes a difference. You don't need permission from people to lead them. But in case you do, here it is. They're waiting, we're waiting for you to show us where to go next. So here's what leaders have in common. The first thing is they challenge the status quo. They challenge what's currently there. The second thing is they build a culture. A secret language, a 7-second handshake, a way of knowing that you're in or out. They have curiosity about the people in the tribe, curiosity about outsiders. They're asking questions. They connect people to one another. Do you know what people want more than anything? They want to be missed. They want to be missed the day they don't show up. They want to be missed when they're gone. And tribe leaders can do that. And it's fascinating because all tribe leaders have charisma, but you don't need charisma to become a leader. Being a leader gives you charisma. And if you look and study the leaders who have succeeded, that's where charisma comes from the leading. And finally, they commit. They commit to the cause, they commit to the tribe, they commit to the people who are there. So I'd like you to do something for me, and I hope you'll think about it before you reject it out of hand. What I want you to do, it only takes 24 hours, is create a movement. Something that matters. Start. Do it. We need it. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
All right. What did you guys think of that? I'll have to unmute everybody first. Unmute all. Uh-oh.
Hi.
Yay. Hi, Sherry.
Hi, Sherry.
Hi, guys. We got Sherry. What happened to Renee and TJ?
Yeah, no Renee and TJ. I thought for sure they'd be here. I thought Roxanne was going to be here too, but who knows? Life happens.
Hey, we're here.
Yep.
And that's what's important.
Half the time I'm not.
That's all right. So what did you guys think of that whole idea of leading a tribe?
Well, it's the same concept of getting people in and having them refer people to you, and just that's where your network starts building when you get the referrals and the extra people coming in.
Yep. For me, it was really an important distinction of, instead of the common sales model is that sending things out and trying to get people to buy, versus really connecting with people and having a conversation going about making a change. And what is it that we're really trying to change? The thing that I looked at and that has become so obvious to me is that the healthcare system really needs a change. And honey, I'm going to mute you because you're making clinking. So the healthcare system right now is what I think really needs to has a change. And I think that if we're focusing in on the wellness practitioners, they really are the alternative to the healthcare system. You can't really fix the healthcare system, but you can offer an alternative to that. And the conversation that we need to have going forward, instead of being about your modality and fixing symptoms with your modality, what the heck is that, Sam?
I look like a ghost.
What is that?
Oliver.
Oh.
Stop, Oliver.
But instead of trying to fix symptoms with with our modality, it's really I think it's a much more productive and easier conversation to engage people if you're talking about what they really want. And what they really want is to feel good, and they want to have their life back, and they want to be healthy. So that's really what I think this, what we want to take the benefits and everything that you've done and really look at what it is that you do and what it is that you're offering your client base. And if it's easier to think of them as a tribe that you're leading, what are you leading them to? And leading them to wellness is really, to me, I think the conversation that really everybody wants to have. And that whole thing about being connected is true. People want to feel connected. That was one of the things that people gravitated to so strongly with our Life Pulse community. They want to be connected to something that's bigger than them and that has a purpose that is moving them. So I don't know. What do you guys think?
it definitely creates people then authentically want to keep coming back to you, not because of any other reason other than they feel the need to. They're guided, they're led by you, and what you're selling or you're offering, or it becomes more than just like a client relationship. You know, it's a lifestyle, really. Stop it.
Well, and I agree. I mean, I feel like it just makes what we do a much bigger picture, you know. And I think creating that, you know, like you know, that's what I've talked about before, is what I've really missed from the Life Pulse family is, yes, it started out as a business relationship, but it in one way it did, in another way it didn't, because what it started out as, like-minded people being attracted to our message and then joining our tribe. I mean, we heard over and over and over and over that people wanted to be part of our family. People enjoyed being part of our family. And so what happens with that is then it builds, yes, I mean, you're right, Veronica, when you say in the way of referrals or whatever, but it just helps your message and your mission feel bigger and helps you attract the right people, you know, like when you're talking about the ideal clients and all that. I think if you can look at it from that way, like, and I mean, and Deb, I would think you can relate to this more because you lead classes of people, you know, so you already lead a group of people through a yoga routine. It's taking then those different people and making them all one family with like a common mission. And I just think it, I don't know, I think it's just, I just love the whole thing. I love the whole concept. And it was
like
kind of funny because when John talked about it's more sustainable, exactly. And when John first presented this to me and had me watch it, I was like, oh, well, we already did that. You know, we took from selling a PMF system to creating this idea. Like the big idea for us was, wow, are you dreaming of a career with horses? Do you want freedom? Do you want, you know, to help people and animals? Here we have this way to do it, and if you go with us, then you become part of this community of other people that are doing it. And so it was kind of like we already started a movement. So I get it, and I get how the momentum builds, and that's something that unless you've experienced that, you don't get it. And so for you guys, instead of looking at each individual client, if you can look at it more from the standpoint of, I'm on a mission, I'm leading a group of people to wellness or whatever it is you're thinking about it in your mind, it creates an energy of its own that starts a ball of energy rolling that makes it easier for you to keep going. And like Sam said, is more sustainable. So I don't know. As usual, I'm kind of long-winded explaining what I wanted to.
What I see in it too is, like, you know, they kind of touched on that, people wanting to belong someplace. But it's more, I think it's even deeper than that. Like they want to find like-minded people in the way our society is set up today. It's like people want to find other like-minded people. And I think too, whether it's, you know, what you guys did with the PEMF system and turning it into the horse industry and blooming all of that, it's like I can come into teach yoga 3 nights a week and see some of the same faces rotate in and out and whatever. But if I really want to create, which I, it's not my business, but if I wanted to create a tribe, then I would have to, nourish that and, think of other activities besides when people are all together, sitting on the mat in silence, side by side. You've got to figure out a way to get them to, you've got to do more than that. You would have to, have special events, do community things to get them to become a tribe instead of a whole bunch of individuals.
Absolutely.
A silence on the mat.
Absolutely.
And
that's what I feel that.
I agree 100%.
Don't you think, Deb? Isn't that what's kind of?
Oh, 100%, 100%. And so it's, and by just trying to hold on to each individual person and hope they come back next Wednesday night or whatever. Or if you, take my business card. If you bring in a friend, I'll give you a free class or whatever. Instead of doing that, if you create the tribe, then that's where you get the organic thing. People just want to come because they've heard about it and they saw the party and they saw everybody dancing around like a bunch of idiots with the full moon or whatever they were doing, but it looked like fun. Or but if it's I think it's just that organic thing. It's a totally different way to increase your business than one individual at a time.
Yeah. So Deb, yeah, I can definitely see the light go on. You're getting the idea of the tribe, and that is it. Right now, when you talk about healthcare and people's health and their wellness, people are just desperate to have somebody tell them, what the real story is. Like, how do you really lead a healthy lifestyle? Because if you can go and Google stuff now, you could find just as many negative articles about being a vegan as you can being positive, or being, or just as many negative articles about being organic. Organic, you need fertilizer in order to get, help your plants grow. So there's all these different things. So what people are doing is they're looking for people that they connect with, that they trust, that they know is got their back and they're interested in for, and then they want to be led, and they want to be connected, but they also want to be led by someone that they trust and that they feel that has their interests in that are in common. And that is the scam of the medical system, is that the doctors have sold out. I mean, they no longer are looking for your best interest. They're specialists that are only interested in their specialization. And that has, I just swallowed a fly.
Oh.
Anyway,
have a cookie.
But that is what the medical side, the wellness side of this conversation is. That's the tribe that really needs to be led, is the tribe of wellness. And the funny thing is that every practitioner brings their own special sauce to the equation, because every practitioner has has their own modality, has their own way of doing it, has their own personality and things. So they're going to, just by the very nature of their uniqueness, are going to attract their own unique tribe, if they're being authentic and if they're really communicating in a very open and honest way. And I was listening to Jack Canfield on his presentation about training trainers, which was so funny because I got one video about leading your tribe, and then the next one was really about training the trainers. Like these two things are like, really bookends on the same bookshelf. That he was talking about how really as a trainer, you're only going to get people that are going to be as authentic and honest and vulnerable as you're being to them. And you as the leader really have to open up and show that you're vulnerable, that you're a real person. And as Bruce Springsteen said, peel back the public mask that you put on and let people see the real person. And if you do that, then the people that you're going to be able to attract are going to feel that same way. And so I just looked at that and said, that's really the essence of leading a tribe as a real leader rather than a dictator, but and as a leader rather than a salesman, is that you're bringing them with you. You're not manipulating them or mesmerizing them or selling them into doing something that they don't want. And for me, that's just a really much more comfortable way to have, to fulfill my purpose. And the real big why that I think is so need is to provide an alternative to the healthcare system that is out there. And each one of you, we've always said, to our PMF practitioners that we now live vicariously through them, and through them, they are now the miracles that we get to live through. And really with all the wellness practitioners, it's really the same thing now, and just in a much bigger stage, that there are so many more people that we can support by providing them with stuff that they can use, and like posts and stories. And Sherry's done an amazing job at putting up stuff on our Facebook page and our group and everything that is that everybody can use to keep the conversation of wellness going in a positive direction. So that's really what I'd like to see our movement be about and go forward with.
Well,
Jerry.
And honing in on is, so if we're thinking of our mission of our tribe, it's that we see this tribe of all different wellness practitioners, the woo-woo-y people and the energy healers and the yoga instructors and the PMF people and the craniosacral people and all this, and that our goal is to share the alternatives in a positive way to the traditional sport and promote the people that are offering them. And so, it's kind of taken us a while to figure that out. But what John was saying that we kind of honed in on this week is, for us, that's a win-win-win. It's a win because, we're having a business and fulfilling ourselves and our place in the world. It's a win because we're helping all of you practitioners out there and animals with your healing modalities, whatever they are. So that's kind of what we narrowed it down to. So, we're just welcoming everybody in our group to then come up with their own mission that may be bigger than offering PEMF, that may be bigger than offering yoga in whatever kind of way, or wellness coaching, or craniosacral therapy, or what are some of the other things that the people that we're working with. And so part of it, I don't know if John mentioned it, but seems crazy because we've already gone down the road, but in the feeling of just wanting to really have this be positive, we're going to change the name from the Drugless Practitioner Academy to the Wellness Practitioner Academy. And I don't know what you guys think of that. It's going to be kind of not a major rebranding thing.
I already asked them about that.
Did you already mention that?
Yeah, and they still like the Drugless Practitioner better.
Really? I'm amazed.
What was
amazed. Okay.
Performance.
Wellness and performance.
Because wellness precedes performance. Yeah. Wellness and performance.
So drugless wellness
Yes.
performance.
Drugless wellness and performance.
Did you hear that, John?
A little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Mark, okay, say it again. Well,
John, how about let's see, drugless wellness and performance academy or practitioner, because wellness precedes performance, and a lot of times they just need to get well before they can go out and run a 10K. You know.
Yeah. Well, but we are trying to actually Wellness Practitioner Academy is really pretty long in itself.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's true.
Maybe that could be a subtitle.
Yeah, but a tagline.
Well, it's just like when we had mentioned it to Renee was like, no, I like drugless because I hate the pharmaceutical companies. And I was like, yes, that's what we're trying to get away from. We want the positive, not, to me, from the minute John named it that, I was in a wounded place and not engaging, but I was like, it's so negative. I don't want that. That's just so, so I don't know. We just feel like the universe is pushing us in that direction. And so we're trying to be authentic to who we are and what we're trying to share. But anyway.
So Seth was asking several questions about, what is a tribal leader and what is it, that you're doing in a movement. And Deb, you're getting like really dark.
I know. There's no light in this building. It's like there's just no light. And if I can go into another room where there's a little bit more.
It's all right. It's fine. It's for if it's okay with you. I'm just saying you're looking all like, woo. It's just like really dark. But
one thing that he said that I thought, oh, well, I don't know that I would necessarily be doing that, is he said, who are you upsetting? Or something to that effect. He's like, if you're not pushing somebody's buttons, or and that's not the term he used, but it's like you're not creating change, or you're not making a big enough of an impact, kind of type thing. If you're and I thought,
well, yeah, he is talking about making change.
For like myself, I was trying to look at my idea. It's like I'm giving somebody a different way to do something, but I really don't know that there would be somebody's toes that I would be stepping on by. I mean, I suppose there are in a roundabout way, but I don't know if I'm making any sense.
No, you are, and that was exactly where I was going. Was so out of these three things, if you're, one of the things you need, one of the questions is who are you challenging or upsetting the status quo? And Debbie, actually, what you are doing though is you are upsetting the status quo in that you're getting people to focus in on a healthy activity rather than taking a pill. And taking responsibility for their health and their wellness rather than letting a doctor do it for them. And for us, for our movement, for the way that I see it for us is that we are absolutely, PEMF is upsetting the status quo because you're really providing an alternative to the traditional medical system. And I really see the movement that we would like to support would be providing an alternative to traditional medicine and growing the community of alternative wellness practitioners. and that is for sure upsetting the traditional medical system. And being a PMF practitioner, you are providing an alternative. And so what we're doing is we're really providing a whole network of alternative practitioners. And so who are we connecting that have a common yearning? Well, I think if you look at the wellness practitioner industry as a whole, it's incredibly fragmented. The doctors, they're all together. They have the American Medical Association. They don't do anything without the American Medical Association, and they have an entire structure and that is led and paid for by the drug community and the drug companies. So we don't, as being an alternative practitioner, you don't have that centralized, dictatorship. So, but there is a common yearning of providing alternative and wellness services to people. So there's for sure I think a gigantic need for these people, for wellness practitioners, to be connected, and those are the people that we're going to be leading the wellness practitioners, so that you guys can lead your clients and be the grassroots movement. That's the way that I see what we're trying to accomplish. Honey, we're losing everybody.
Yay, John.
I'm coming back. I'm moving to where there's light, so I'm rearranging everything.
Moving toward the light.
I'm going to the light, and it's still probably not great, but it should be somewhat better.
That is the theme of our life. We're moving toward the light.
Look, I got a little
Ta-da!
halo.
Yeah, you do.
you have the halo now, yeah.
Oh, and I've got my blankie.
And what happened to Sam?
I think Oliver was getting too rowdy.
I think so too.
He was ready for bed. There she is.
I'm here. I've been listening. I couldn't come back on because you had me blocked.
Oh,
Hi, how are you? Yeah, I put on a movie for Oliver.
That's what
How
he
old is
wanted.
Oliver?
What's that?
How old is Oliver?
He's 7.
7. Oh boy, good age.
Yeah.
We're just beginning.
Yeah. He was wanting to work on a book that he's trying to create here, and then he just couldn't help it, I guess. I don't know. I don't know what happened. I told him.
Wanted mom's attention.
Yeah.
Which is understandable.
Yes. No, John, I like the concept of what you're saying as far as like the wellness. I still like the drugless practitioners because it's informed people that you don't have to use drugs to do this. So, I think it's leading in the right direction.
Yeah.
Well, that's a different outlook on it. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I just, what I said, Sherry, what I shared with John is, and I use the word wellness in what I am creating all the time. And I think it's a really powerful word, and I think it belongs in what all of us are doing in this tribe that is being created here. But to me, I think, I think it's too broad of a subject for your academy. I think it's too broad. I think that, or not defining enough. I think that you get more definition of what you're actually doing with drugless.
Okay.
But that's I mean,
Well, that's
it's just an opinion.
yeah.
So,
No, and that's what we're looking for. So that's what we're looking for. So I don't know. It just felt more negative to me, but I guess I don't know.
See, I don't see the
It's
negative.
good to have a different.
Because, it is drugless, not anti-drug, but well, I guess it is anti-drug.
But I never, when I first heard it, it made me stop and go, okay, drugless practitioners, okay. And it made me think. It caught my attention. And if you see wellness everywhere. I mean, it's on every street corner, it's on every brochure, it's on every magazine. It's just, and like I said, that's not a bad thing because I'm totally all for wellness.
Yeah.
All right, I think I lost my train of thought, but I think it's just saying that there is another way. This is our option. I've heard people call it physical medicine or whole body. And there's so many, but I think it's just becoming more and more popular all the time. I think you guys are really onto the cutting edge of something. Of exactly what you're trying to create here. And I think it's just, the movement's just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger.
Well, for sure, the people do need to have, you were seeing Sherry's mom is a perfect example that you do need to consider the whole body when you're talking about your health. You can't sit there and be a specialist. I think that is the main, I think major limiting factor of the healthcare system today is the specialization and the compensation from the drug companies to prescribe drugs. So people are really just the practitioners that should be taking into consideration your whole picture are just looking at their little piece of it, and it's not like just assembling a car.
Yeah, that's a healthy thirst.
You have to have the whole body, mind, and spirit all considered when you're trying to talk about your health. Otherwise, if you have any one of those pieces missing, then you don't have the whole picture. You don't have health.
That's right.
So, and that is the major flaw in the system is that the specialization that works so well in making hamburgers doesn't work so well in keeping people healthy. So.
Well, yeah, and I think obviously in some things that, it's great to have a specialist that, does specific things, because obviously doctors can't be, the specialist in everything under the sun, but yet I think our society's gotten away from general practitioners, or I think you actually, and we're kind of getting off the topic of what we're supposed to be doing, but I think you almost working with a nurse practitioner or a physician's assistant or something, I've actually felt like I've had way more thorough physical examinations or something there than I ever have at a doctor's, an MD's office.
And and that's kind of my point, is that no matter where these individual practitioners are in terms of their specialization, if the overall conversation is leading their tribe to wellness, and having the overall conversation be about supporting their whole body wellness, yes, I'm a Reiki practitioner, so I'm going to be looking at it from that perspective. But then I can also be an advocate about your whole body, mind, and spirit, and having people aware that they need to be looking at the whole person, the whole self. So I think that in traditional medicine in the Western world, we don't even have a term. I watched this video of what was her name. So we don't even have a term for the energy, our life force. In Eastern, it's chi or ki, or there is no real even word for energy that we have that runs through us. So clearly our system is missing a big component, and who better than the alternative practitioners but to raise the awareness and to help support the overall
Yeah,
wellness
like in
of the whole self.
Ayurvedic medicine, it's called prana.
Prana, chi,
Yeah.
ki, yep. Prana in India, yep. Yeah, what was, honey, who was the person that...
That's actually, Anita Morgiani. It was a wonderful, she has an incredible show on Hay House Radio, and I'll actually see if I can share the link for that in the group, because it's actually a really important talk about life force energy and how powerful life force energy is, and how powerful it is as caretakers. And she really goes into a lot about how do we as caretakers preserve our own life force energy, which then helps the people that we're helping. Like if you come to the table depleted, then you're actually both getting more depleted, where if you come from a place of your own life force energy, then you're actually just, your presence is a healing presence. And it's a really phenomenal talk. So I will see if I can share that in our group, because I think everybody would really get a lot out of it. And I highly recommend, if you guys aren't already listening to Hay House Radio. It was founded by Louise Hay, and there's an app on your iPhone that you can get. You can also watch it and listen to it on your computer. And they just have all of the most phenomenal cutting edge authors and new ideas, all in this, realm that we're talking about of mind, body, and spirit. You just can get so much out of it. And Anita Morgiani is one of the authors. She has an incredible book, Dying to Be Me. If you haven't heard of her or her work, she was actually someone that was at stage 4 cancer and had cancer for 4 years, and literally slipped into a coma, and was, her whole family was called in that she was dying, and she died, and then came back and had an incredible experience on the other side, and within weeks completely healed. I like an unbelievable story. And her book shares not only her journey to sickness, her journey on the other side, but then her journey of wellness and what she learned through the whole thing. So highly recommend it. It's both Hay House Radio and Anita Morgiani. So that's what we were listening to.
Send that link, or just send us a little reminder. That'd be awesome.
Yeah. I'll put it in our Facebook group, our private group.
So going forward, really, the best way to communicate really is through the group, and the posts that Sherry's putting out there, and hopefully I'll be putting out there, is really going to be for your guys' benefit. And if you see something that you like, share it, copy it, use it, make it your own, and see how it does, and give us, bless you, and
excuse me,
and then give us feedback on how it's working for you or not, and together we can really start producing content that is going to really help promote the conversation of wellness. So I don't know. Are we getting?
And we are going to do some other. We are wanting to do like some other Facebook Lives and some other. We will do some Zoom meetings on special topics and stuff. So we're going to keep this conversation going too, and we are here for you guys with your questions. So I don't know. So did you go over all your technical stuff, John? We're coming to the end.
I think we're coming to the end of the road, unless you guys have some questions. If you do, ask them. Oh, Veronica, I think you're muted.
There's my business. There was an app that you had us download on the computer or on my phone. I downloaded it.
Google My Business.
Yeah, and I don't remember exactly where we went with that or what we were supposed to do beyond that. Did I just miss a whole something or other?
That's just something that it's an individual listing that you put out, that when someone will Google you, it will come to the top of the page. So it's kind of like a free keyword listing to get you the top. So whatever your business is named, if someone Googles that business, then it will see you top of the page, front and center. And it is all free, but you have to fill it out and you have to get verified. That is one thing that will not show up until you get verified. If you have a physical address, they do send you a postcard. I think they sent us postcards for our Google business. So you can have more than one of them if you have more than one Google account.
Well, okay, so I did that and I got authenticated and stuff, but I was really crabby when they wanted a physical address because I don't have a storefront. I don't have a business where people can come. And I was like, I don't want to give them my address. I was really crabby. I didn't want to do that. But
I don't think you have to, because you can be online.
Oh, I could not get around it. I tried everything under the sun I could think of to get away with it. But I may have just not known the magic buttons, but I didn't want to do it, and I tried to avoid it.
Well, they for sure need verification that you're a real business. And part of that, like in order to advertise on the internet, you have to have, like at your bottom of your website, you have to have a physical address. You cannot advertise on a website. That's one of the requirements of advertising on Facebook and on AdWords, is that at the bottom you have to have a physical address. There's certain things that you have to have. One of them is a physical address. The second one is you have to have terms and conditions. And the third one, you have to have a privacy policy that's published. And if you do any kind of advertising at all and you don't have that, Facebook will shut your account down. AdWords, I'm not sure exactly what they do, but Facebook for sure will just go, no, you don't have these minimum requirements. We're not putting your ad up. So I'm thinking that's probably where you got hung up.
Well, I mean, I did it, but I'm just looking now. I just couldn't. So then periodically you need to go back in and do, be active on that so it keeps showing up on your Google searches. Would that be a fair statement?
No, but you have to have all the stuff entered in there. You have to complete the process. Like your hours and your contact and your address and what you do. And I think a picture is a good thing. And there's a process that you have to go through that answers all their questions.
Well, I did all that, or I thought I did all of that. I thought I had filled that all out, but I just couldn't remember what piece of the puzzle that was.
And they'll send you reminders if you haven't, like I'll constantly get things because we don't really have hours, hey, you want to fill in your vacation, your holiday hours, come in. It's like, we're open.
Yeah. John, not to change the subject, but I was trying to do some words like on Google search and stuff to see what drugless comes up with a different word, and they're talking about therapy, drugless therapy. So they're saying therapy and helpful was one of the two words that are kind of trying to get something different if you didn't want to use drugless. But they're, if you did drugless practitioner therapy or therapist, that includes everybody. So they're saying this is what we do. I mean, that'd be another round.
Yeah, there's already a whole training thing about therapists.
Yeah.
What is it? Therapy
or therapy.
Except logical therapy, like therapists considered like psychologists or psychiatrists.
But if you do drugless in there, that means it wouldn't be a psychologist because they always want to prescribe pills.
No, psychology is not drugs.
No?
Yeah.
That's psychiatry.
Psychiatry. Okay. Got it. I'm just
No,
thinking.
right. They're the ones who can.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think we're going to wrap this up, and appreciate you guys staying through all the way to the end of the final week. And Veronica, if you want us to do a Zoom, and so we can get you, all caught up and all the way through, get everything, really up and going.
Yes, please.
Just email me. We'll get on my schedule, and we'll set up a time to do a Zoom and definitely get this done. Deborah, you need to just figure out a time to stop by, and I can get that on your computer, the backup and sync on your computer, and get whatever you need to have done completed.
Okay.
So, and everybody else that's tuning in on the replay, let us know if we can help you. And it's sure been a pleasure helping you with your marketing, and we're looking forward to. You get unlimited access for the portal for a whole nother year. And believe me, I'm going to be adding a ton of stuff on Google Gmail marketing and how to support all the different Google apps, how to Google apps. And if you have questions, if you don't know how to do something on one of the Google apps, try to send it through the help desk. Because what I'll do is I'll answer it in the help desk and then make it a standard question that you can search on. And that will help the people that will come behind you.
Okay.
So I've got like 27 different tips and tips, tricks, and shortcuts for Google apps that I'm working on. And I've done a bunch of them already, and I've got the whole thing. At least the list that I got so far is 27 different things. So 27 different tips.
Cool.
Sherry or John, is it possible that I can get a sample of one of your flyers that you take to, like, the racetracks and wherever you go to the horse shows and stuff? I just get an idea. So when we do our flyers coming up.
It is that we have a great flyer in the portal.
Did.
Oh, is there one in there? Okay.
Yeah, in the portal. Yeah, there's a trifold brochure, and there's also the postcard, which we used. And actually, Sam, we should post. We just created a new one for Sam that turned out pretty cool. Using Canva. I really recommend using a program called Canva to, if you don't have Publisher, I have Publisher, but we've found we're having a lot of fun using Canva, and you can get it on your phone and your computer, and it's a really great tool to not only create, logos and marketing material, but also so I highly recommend Canva if you're not already using it.
Yeah,
so.
it's Canva, Canva, and it is a free app. I think if you want to go up and upgrade the premium. But one of the great things that it is really, really good at is if you're going to advertise on Facebook or put Facebook posts or put pictures on your website, you want to have them sized right, and then you want to have them compressed. And you can basically create the picture, so you just upload the picture, drag it into their canvas, and it will and tell them the size that you want. Like Facebook's pictures are 1080 by 1080 pixels. And then you just take that and you download, so you size it, and then you download it into your computer, and then you go to a website called TinyPNG, and you upload it into there, and it will compress it, and usually it will reduce it by like 60 to 80% of the size. And for like your websites, you absolutely want to do that because things will load so much faster. And for Facebook and any other advertising, it's almost a requisite. They almost require you to do that. And so you'll take these files that are great big huge files and compress them down into the small sizes and that are the right size. And make a big difference. So those are the two things that you really need in order to do that. Canva will get it sized right, and then download it, and then you take TinyPNG, like the PNG files, although you can do a JPEG, you can convert it into a JPEG file too. And then compress it, and then put those into a separate file that you use. So any picture that you want to use, and then name it. Make sure you name it. So, and by all means, you really want to be using your own authentic pictures of you, not stock photographs. You want to be using your smiling face, doing the practitioner or doing the treatments and being out in real life, and those are way more powerful. But if you can do that, and you can just take your regular phone pictures from your phones, and they work great.
Cool. Yeah, Sam, I'm going to be going to the trainer on Monday. Finally got another appointment with him at Los Alamitos. So I'm kind of excited about that. Still trying to figure about the money part of it, and how did you, like you said, give him a free treatment and just charge him the regular prices, or give him a bundle deal on a bunch of horses. And
Sam, hi, it's Mark. Here's my deal on a prospective business arrangement with a trainer at a horse track. I think there's a lot of unknowns. I think there's limited money. And so I think, and tell me if you think this might work, offer them something they can't refuse. We've got to do the 3-day-a-week charge. That's the minimum that we want to do to make an effect, and then maybe a weekly charge. But maybe do something like $800 for the first month, just to demonstrate what we can do. What do you think?
I mean, so how many horses are you saying you're going to do for $800?
$800 is 3 to 5 horses, okay, done 3 times a week for the 4-week period.
I mean, that's a huge discount, but I don't know. I mean, I go back and forth because I'm never in favor of discounting so much, just because I don't want to devalue what you're doing. But if you have a really common understanding with them that this is a special case, and then that you get something in return, right? Like regular business obviously is one thing, but also testimonials or that sort of thing in return for your favor, because that's a pretty big cut.
We get a read that they recognize the efficacy. However, these trainers have a limited budget, and my belief is if we're going to get in there, we need to make a big impact. In order to do that, we're going to have to work on these horses three days a week, right?
Yeah.
So
I mean,
I would say three to maybe 5 horses, no
Okay.
more than that. And, you know, they know up front that $800 is a deep discount. But again, they're not going to ask us to come back unless they see an observable effect.
Right. And I am, that is really important. I would, you know, I always encourage people to find a way that they can have the best results possible, you know, so then you're bringing your clients back. What do you think about that, John?
I think you should check your math. That's like $13 a treatment. Yeah.
But you know what? If it secures the future, you know?
Yeah, but the thing is that what people do sometimes they do all the time. And if you lock yourself into a deal where you're getting $13 a treatment, you're basically just going to be their slave, and they won't value it. I would never go below 60 ever. More like 75. And I don't care if they have them lined up for you from here to eternity. I would never go outside of charging on a per horse basis, because if you start doing that, what they'll do is they'll say, well, we want you to treat the 5 horses and we want you to do the first one at like 8 in the morning. And then, well, then we got to run them and everything. Then you can come back, you know, we can do the second one at 4, and then the second and third one like at 6, and so you're going to be like, you're not. It's not going to be setting yourself up for a good relationship. What you want to do is you want to say, you know, that my normal is $100 a horse, and that we recommend you doing 3 at a time, and three treatments per horse per week, and do a per horse treatment based on them committing to a package paid up front.
Yeah, I would honestly, what I would recommend ideally, because one of my favorite packages to sell is 10 treatments for $800. Whether it be for humans, horses, dogs, whatever, I think it's a really good package. You're giving them a $200 discount. I would say if you could ask them, you know, pick one horse, let's do X amount of treatments in X amount of time for X amount of money, whatever you feel comfortable with. I really love doing 10 for $800, and see, they're surely going to get good results with that. If you do 10 treatments on one of their horses intermittently over a couple of weeks, you're going to see huge changes that they won't be able to deny. So then that's creating a little bit more of a professional relationship, I would say.
Yeah.
I don't think that's possible with them. You know, I don't know. I don't know what.
And then you haven't gotten so far underwater that you'll never get out of that. Yeah, I would make sure that the payment arrangements, because you know, trainers, especially at the track, are notorious for saying, you know, they usually bill their clients and then they get paid, and then maybe they pay you. And so you need to make sure that you're getting paid in a timely fashion, so that you don't have the exposure of getting stiffed. And so I would absolutely, it's much better not to do treatments, because then you're open yourself to other people, than it is to be tying yourself up and then not making any money. So it's much better to say, like, Sam has a really, you know, she's got the voice of experience. And it's better to say that do that kind of a package, and say, you know, I can do all day long at $100 a time. I get paid when I get done, or I can do an upfront payment package, and you have to position it as you're discounting it to get paid upfront and to schedule it upfront. That's the trade-off. You know, and they need to understand that. We're not discounting it. It's like,
so I would also just add in, you maybe present this to him, do one free demo on one horse, and then present the $800 package. So really he's getting $300 discount, and make that clear. But you definitely, it would be more effective to put your time into one horse and do more sessions on the one horse and really monitor them from start to finish, whether it just be in performance, whether it be in injury healing, whatever. Monitor it, take pictures of the horse's body, take note of their time when they're racing or running or, exercising, all those things, because not only is that going to be interesting to the owner, that's going to be data that you can have, and research you can have for yourself for future clients to share.
Mm-hmm.
So, when you're doing a favor, make sure they're reciprocating somehow.
Yeah.
If they're old, if they have an injury, ask if you can see, not necessarily to share to the general public if they don't feel comfortable, but, see the ultrasounds or the x-rays and the improvements and things like that.
Yeah.
So you can build up your testimonial.
Got it.
Pile.
See, this gentleman here, he's like the #1 trainer at Los Alamitos for quarter horses. So my cousin used to work for him, but he's retired now. And he knows a lot of the trainers there. So we were trying to see if we give him a good deal that he get all the other trainers in. But like you said, they all talk. So,
but if you give him a good deal, then all the other trainers are going to want that good deal too.
Yeah.
And that's happened before. We've run into this. We've even had the conversation where it's like, okay, this is just you getting this.
And then everybody else wants that same deal.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's not a good deal, you've ever heard the story, you're making money on, you're losing money on this treatment. Well, how do you want to make it up? Oh, I'm going to make it up on quantity, that doesn't come out, never comes out right. So what you're better off doing is you're better off pricing it to this one guy. If he's the #1 trainer, he's going to get the most value. I would price, you're better off saying, I'm going to price it at full price. So then when he tells the rest of the people, yeah, I get $100 from him,
Well, it'd be better to do that. And then to offer every 4th or 5th horse that they, say they bring you a potential client. So every 4 or 5 horses or whatever you feel comfortable with, they get a free treatment.
Someone else's, right.
Right. Or his too, every 5th horse or whatever you feel comfortable with. Give them incentives to bring you more business, not because of a discount.
Yeah.
Or am I saying that right? You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I understand what you're saying.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So we have a meeting Monday, and I just wanted to, have some information. In fact, we were thinking about going Saturday night because he's usually there running the horses and the other trainers there. So I wanted to get a flyer together and kind of hand it out to them, or cards.
Yeah, the postcards. I really like using the postcards. Is that on the portal, John?
Yep.
Postcard. Okay. And
several different versions. Yeah. What you want is an 8.5 by 11 with 2 images up on both sides, and you just take it to a printer. You print it on really nice cardstock. Don't go cheap. Don't go cheap on the paper, and make sure it's color, and it will look really good. And then they cut it in half.
Oh, okay.
So you have 2. You'll get 2 flyers out of an 8.5 by 11,
okay.
Top and bottom.
And you have those on the website, on the portal? Okay.
Yep.
All righty. Get me going.
All right. Good luck.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Yeah, remember to value yourself when you present yourself to someone, that you may find intimidating. Remember, you have value too that you're offering.
Yes.
Go in strong.
Well, that's what I liked about what you were saying. Something over here. Oh, got my notes. It's all a challenge in trying to sell yourself to them, so they want what you have.
But it's not, because you're offering them a service that can absolutely help them.
Mm-hmm.
And they can't be helped if you don't present yourself authentically and openly and confidently and informatively. You have to tell them what you can do for them.
Yeah.
And so you've got to put yourself out there.
The biggest
It's
thing
hard. I used to have a really hard time with it. I still do.
the biggest thing that you can say to a really competitive trainer is that you can say, look, this is going to, and without going into all the details and everything, is just going to say, what else are you doing that can give you a competitive edge like this?
Yes.
You will see that after your horses get treated, after I treat your horses, that you will see that they will move better, they will feel better, and they'll run faster. What
and
more do
recover
you want?
faster. And recover faster.
Recover faster, yeah.
And it does take the peaks and the valleys out of the training.
Did you hear that, what they're saying?
Yeah.
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 Well, that's great, yeah.
Just tell them they'll make them win.
That's what we said. Yeah. You'll be the fastest horse on the track.
Well,
What it does is it can't make an average horse great, but it can take every horse and bring them up to the best of their ability. And that's all that anybody can expect.
Mm-hmm.
You can give those horses the best shot that they've got, and that's all you can expect.
Yeah.
And another thing that there's so many angles, and obviously when you say like, oh, it'll fix that, it sounds too good to be true. But because of what you're doing, you're enhancing cellular function with PEMF, so you're supporting the whole body's system. That when horses feel better, they behave better too, and they're more trainable. I've run into, when I was in Ocala a couple years ago, a racing barn that had me treat a couple of their 2-year-olds that were actually just having like behavioral problems with them, bucking their rider off all the time, and it was making it impossible. And in treating them, that went away because they were feeling better.
Yes.
And less anxiety. They weren't as high strung because of body tightness and soreness and ulcers and God knows what. So, there's a lot of different angles you can come.
Okay, that's good to know too. Okay. Yeah. I'm ready now.
All right.
Awesome, guys. It's been fun. John, thank you for all your time and energy. And
thank you.
Yes.
Been our pleasure.
Yes. You're a great help.
Thanks a lot.
Sam, I'm looking forward to seeing your face in person.
I know. I know it's been so long.
Someday.
Yeah, someday.
Someday.
Well, hopefully in a couple of years we'll have our truck